everybody. Welcome to exercise 4. In this exercise, we will learn Python functions. Previously, we have learned how to use Python's built-in functions. To define our own functions, we can use def statement or lambda statement. Here, I define a function with def statement. This function prints out hello and prints out world. To call a function, we just write the function name. Now, let's see how to pass data to a function. The data sent to a function is called arguments. In Python, there are different kinds of arguments we can pass to a function. Default arguments are not required to be passed to the function. If we don't pass any arguments to the function, the default arguments will be used. Here, the default value of A is 128 and B is 2. Since I didn't pass any arguments to the function, the default arguments will be used. So A is 128 and B is 2. Positional arguments can be called by their position in the function definition. Based on the position, A will be 0 and B will be 4. Because A is in the first position and B is in the second position. Keyword arguments are arguments that can be called by their name. Here we set B to 4 and A to 0. Sometimes we don't know the number of arguments that will be passed into a function. To handle this kind of situation, we can call a function with an arbitrary number of arguments. In the function definition, we use a star symbol before the parameter name to denote this kind of argument. This is the star symbol. This is the parameter name. Here, 1, 2 are positional arguments. A is 1 and B is 2. 3, 4, 5 are arbitrary positional arguments. We will print them over here. We can also pass arbitrary number of keyword arguments. In the function definition, we use 2 star symbols before the parameter name to denote this kind of arguments. 2 star symbols before the parameter name. The argument will be a dictionary. Over here, I print the key and value of the keyword arguments. A function can return data as an output. Here, the function returns A plus B as an output. Moreover, there can be more than one return value. Here, the function returns 1, 2, 3, 3 outputs. Here's an example of a function that takes a number as argument and returns the Fibonacci sequence. The length of the return sequence is decided by the argument. So here, we return 5 numbers. Let me briefly explain the code. First, we store the Fibonacci sequence in result. At the end of the function, we return the sequence. The first 2 elements of Fibonacci sequence is 0 and 2. And to calculate the Fibonacci numbers, we add the previous Fibonacci number and the number before the previous Fibonacci number. And then we append that to the result. Finally, we can return the result. Apart from using def statement to define a function, we can also use lambda expression to define an anonymous function. Lambda expressions are used to create anonymous functions. Lambda expression yields an unnamed function object that behaves like this. So for example, here we have a lambda expression. This xy is the parameters over here, and the expression is x plus y. So this lambda expression is basically def and takes xy as parameters, then returns x plus y. So here a12 will return 3. Finally, let's take a look at higher order function. A higher order function is a function that takes functions as arguments or return a function. For example, the built-in zip function is a higher order function. Zip function can join two sequences together. Apart from zip function, map function, filter function, and sorted function, there are also higher order functions. We are not going to study the details of these functions right now. Basically, map function returns a map object after applying the given function to each item of given sequence. Filter function filters the given sequence with a function that tests each item in the sequence to be true or not. And sorted function returns a sorted sequence. We can pass a function as the comparator for sorting. Here we use x1, which is the second element in the tuples to sort.